Hi, this is Tom. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about using a catalog system for doing Midjourney prompts. And I've been talking about this for a while and um, been really happy with how this is working. Um, the daily theme today is a whale shark. It seems like it's been a whale shark for a while. And here we have a nice picture of something that I thought this was pretty hilarious that did a prompt for a whale shark and came up with this. But here are some whale sharks that actually look like whale sharks. You can see different presentations. It's kind of a nice one. So these are different ideas from the catalog. And I had done a video just before this one on the catalog where I had three catalogs in the catalog. This one I thought was kind of cool. You got an isometric uh, bedroom here with sharks swimming around. Uh, excuse me. I like this style quite a bit. The Tintin comics. It's got a pretty neat style. And I was a little unhappy um, with the approach I took on the last video where I had three catalogs and I had instructions within the scripts about the catalog. Um, and so I'll show what I mean here. So this is, I redid it, and I like the way this is now. So the way that it is now, I have instructions before I start the catalog, and I have instructions after the end of the catalog. So I've got 8 catalogs in here now. Okay, and then I have the catalogs in between, and there's no instructions in the catalogs. All there are I've got a name for the catalog, and then each catalog has 10 entries. And that was another thing that I thought would be a good idea, was to standardize how many entries there are in each catalog. And so the idea, I've tried a number of different techniques for Midjourney prompts, from giving it instructions to using templates. I think templates are, well, those both work well. But this one here is the idea is you just give it the example prompts. And so for each catalog, I have 10 prompts, and then each of the catalog is named, and then each of the prompts are named. And then the instructions are to have it just make prompts that are like the ones that I have. So I can either go to the catalog and choose the ones that I want, or I can let it make the choices. And to give an idea here of how the catalog's working, um, this first one is I chose from, I have on my channel, I'll go to my server, and my server, I have a number of channels. And what I did was, from the channels, is I chose a number of prompts. So from like this channel, um, I found a prompt and then use that as my example. And these all have different kind of styles of prompts that they do. So I chose one of these and made that my example for um, each of the channels that I have. So that was catalog one. Catalog two, I did the same thing. So I've got about 20 channels there. So I chose 10 and then 10. Actually, I had ChatGPT make the choice how to split them up. I asked it to give a logical way of splitting them up. And so it decided to have 10 artistic inspirations and then 10 modern, abstract, and stylized themes. So you split them up and name them. And then I've got a set of 40. So I've got 4 catalogs, and these are called pithy artist inspired prompts. These are really short, so they only have like 4 words. And in order to avoid having to have instructions within the prompts to give it a little bit more robustness, I put in tags and say fixed and wildcard. So the fixed means that the Ansel Adams prompt will always have Ansel Adams and in silhouette. And then the wildcard is it'll put in a word. This can change. That's the idea. Um, so this is a way of providing instructions without having to write out what they are. I explain how the tags work outside of the prompts and then just write the prompts like that. I'll show you some examples of what that looks like. And then, so I've got 40 of these artists that are like this. So these are all about 4 word prompts. And I think this works really nice because, um, oh, this, okay, this went to something else. All right, here we go. So it works nice because the choice of an artist has a big impact on the images that Midjourney has. So even if you have just a 4 word prompt, you can get a lot of variety doing it that way. And then catalog 7, I had another methodology. This is MECP. This is an acronym that it came up with the naming of this type of prompt, which is these are based on a template. So what I did was I had it write out like 15 prompts using a template, and I chose 10 of them that I like to put in the catalog. And then finally, in this last one, I have a channel that had a bunch of different types of prompts, and I chose 10 that I liked from that. This was actually like a YouTube video where the person shared a bunch of different sorts of prompts. This is when that had that Tintin one that I mentioned that I liked. Um, so I was glad to see some ideas that I'd never seen that style of illustration before. That I think's quite nice. So it's nice to get some new ideas from that. All right, so let's go here to my ChatGPT session, and then I'll show how I used the prompt. I mean the catalog. Okay, so let's see. All right, so here I'm making the catalog. I've already put in the first, I think, 6 maybe catalogs. And so I said, this was the one that says MECP, which stands for Mixed Element Catalog, something, doesn't matter. Anyway, it's a template-based one. So mix element constructed prompts, that's it. Um, and so I asked it to make 15 prompts, which it did. And these are the instructions for how to do this sort of prompt. And then it came up with the prompts. And this particular one had kind of a naming convention and the aspect ratio. And I didn't need that for this. So the way I chose to do this was to strip out the dash parameters from the prompts and just handle that myself when I'm making the images. And actually here I said, I didn't give you good example prompts. These are better. So I gave it a couple of prompts that were more streamlined. And so you can see here that these are kind of wandering, more flowery. Whereas for Midjourney, it's nice to have them streamlined. So I had a streamline like this. It wrote out 15. I chose 10 that I liked and then added them to the catalog. Okay, so that was an example of building a catalog where each one has 10. And I did the same thing with this last one. Those I just chose 10. And so each of the catalog entries has a name and an example prompt. And so they all look the same way. So I thought that would be a like cleaner methodology than having uh, different lengths of entries in the catalogs and having to have more complicated instructions. All the complications are in making the prompts, but once you have the prompts, then they get in the catalog in the script. Then it's very simple. It's just a list of they're all the same. The catalog number, a name for the catalog, and then 10 different prompts with with the name, and then the example prompt, and then it'll use these to make new prompts based on whatever directions you give it. So I I let's see. So here we go. This is me using the catalog to do the daily theme. So it says the daily theme for today is whale shark, which means it has to appear in the prompt. Please give 5 prompts where this word is present. Please consider each of the catalogs and choose 5 prompts from any of the catalogs you choose. And so it looked at the 8 catalogs and it chose 5 prompts from the 8 catalogs. And these were the prompts that it chose. So I won't go through each of them, but you can see it chose one from catalog 1, 4, 5, 6, and 8, and chose the ones that it liked. And so I said, good job, do 5 more. And then it did 5 more. And those were the images that I showed you to start the video. And then here I said there was an example prompt that had a double exposure. I think of a lion. Do one like that. So this is kind of a cool thing working with ChatGPT that I remember it has one like that somewhere, but I don't have to go and find it because it remembers everything. So it found it. It was in catalog 1, the double exposure art prompt. So it made a prompt and it did it correctly. And these can make really cool images. It didn't exactly work in this case, although I thought the image was kind of interesting. So I'll show that. And then I said, choose 3 from the ApplyCast catalog. So the ApplyCast catalog was that YouTube video I mentioned where the fellow showed a bunch of different types of prompts. So he chose 3. And I'll just go back through the images. And uh, so this was the double exposure image, which wasn't what I had intended, but still pretty cool. And then let's see if I can find my images, the ApplyCast ones. Here's the ApplyCast ones. So that was a Tintin Comics one right here. And this was an isometric bedroom. And this was an Art Nouveau style. This looks like a cubist. Kind of neat. That's another cubism one. This kind of say hi there, and they look happy to see him. Okay. And this one I don't even remember. It says vintage texture 2D pattern design. All right. And this is kind of an interesting one. He's supposed to be swimming around the Louvre, but he's in midair. Looks kind of like could be an art exhibit. And yeah, this one I liked a lot. This is one of my favorite ones. So this was of Max Rive. So he does these sort of pictures that you normally see them like with mountainous landscapes in the background. And here it apply, and you'll see like an observer. That's a common thing, and then a beautiful kind of background. And here it applied the same pattern. It did, Midjourney does 4 of them. The other 3 weren't quite right, but this one was just right in terms of the type of style you'd expect. That turned out really nice. And see, this was a supposedly Chinese art, which doesn't necessarily look like that to me, but it looks like a really nice image. This was the Banksy one. So the Banksy ones were kind of interesting, did four of them. And this one kind of managed to get it. It looks a little funny here with the tail. It doesn't really quite have it, uh, looking completely like a painting, but almost. Maybe if I did a couple variations on that, it would get that just right. But right general idea there. And then here, I thought this one was hilarious. Uh, it was a whale shark, so pick that out. But um, the once you have the catalog set up, you can ask it things like, please present catalog number 8. All right, let's see what it does for this. I haven't tried this before. I haven't programmed anything for it on how I should do it. I'm just trying on the fly to see what it does. And a reason that I wanted to split this into 10 is because although ChatGPT has this huge context window for receiving information, it's 128,000 tokens that you can give it, which is over 300 pages of a normal book, has a very limited output. And that's something that I hope that the next rollout will give you, more options. Actually, if it could read and write to files, that would allow for a lot of possibilities. But at least write out more than just a little bit. That was the reason for limiting the catalog entries to 10, because it can easily handle 10. And so here it'll show a presentation of catalog 8, and this is exactly so. Like I said, I didn't give it any instructions on how to do this. It's smart enough to do a lot of, and also the stuff I was asking on how to use it. Um, it's just smart enough to know how to do that, where you can just, however, once you have it set up there, you think of how you might want to use it. And here it's displaying it, and I could, choose here, um, and say something like, let's say, do 3 with number 8, 9, and 10 for the whale shark. Daily theme. Okay, so I mentioned the whale shark daily theme, so I think it's smart enough to know that they'll have to include that in the prompt since I explained it earlier. It's not 100%, but I expect it will. And so you can see that it understood. I just said 8, 9, and 10, and it understood from the context that I meant 8, 9, and 10 from the catalog. I just asked it to show up, and it made prompts that were similar to the ones, the example prompts. So the way that it works is, um, good. I guess I could go to the daily theme. I'll do that there. So, can't remember. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Well, I can't remember, so I'll just say something else. I'm waiting for the the Midjourney to come up here. All right, this is the daily theme. So I'll give it the prompt that it gave me. And we'll see how that comes out. It's a bit slow right now. Okay. And so this is just an example of using it where um, it takes it as the example prompt. It's using that. The instructions I gave it were that it should follow as closely as it can the structure and the form of the prompt that it's looking at, but it can change the details however it chooses. So if I look at the example prompt, this is number 9. So it says, river and mountains with boats on it, ancient Chinese art, speed painting, mutated muted tonality, 8K, inspired motifs, National Geographic photo, Robert S. Duncanson. So let's see what it did with that. So it took out the name of the fellow. It said ancient Chinese art style speed painting of a tranquil river scene with a whale shark gracefully swims among traditional boats set against a backdrop of misty mountains and cliffs. The palette is muted, evoking a serene and timeless atmosphere. So that's quite a nice prompt. It took out some of the stuff like the 8K, the National Geographic photo, Robert S. Duncanson. So I could fix this if I wanted to by using the the flag. I'll show you that real quick. So let's find the image that it did here. And I find it's pretty good on the way that it does these prompts. I mean, these are nice looking, even though it took out some of the stuff. I'll do an upscale on that. I'll show what I meant here. If I wanted to make sure that I had that stuff in it, like the 8K, I could do a flag here fixed like this. And opening and closing flag. Actually, why don't I do this? Let me just move it around a bit. Oh, no, this is fine what I had. I'll just do this. Fixed. Okay, like that. Then National Geographic Duncan's right here. All right. And then I'll close the tag like this. All right. And I think this should work. I haven't tried this, but I think it ought to work. So I'd like to change number 9. I think that was 9, right? So this is this is number 9. So I'd like to change number 9 to this. All right. Please do one for whale shark using this example prompt. All right, let's see what it does here. And I think it should do this correctly. So what it should do is it should keep this part of the prompt the same and change the front part of it. And so, yes, so that worked. So I'm kind of curious to see how this changes what the prompt looks like. So let me give this um, to it, to Midjourney. We'll see how that works. And while it's doing that, let me find the upscale that I did. We'll go to that. Here's the upscale, right? And then we'll see how this last image comes out. Kind of curious to see what the difference is. But this turned out to be quite a nice image. Here we go. Yeah, it's a nice picture. And that was just it doing it. And then here, I fixed some of it. So you can see that, whoops, that's not mine. This one's mine. So this is leaving in the 8K, the National Geographic photo, Robert S. Duncanson style. Let's see how much of a difference that made. Let's see, let's I don't really see that much of a difference. So that's kind of interesting. Now, the one I like the most doesn't have a whale shark in it. This one here, I like this one, even though there's no whale shark. But so I'll go ahead. That one looks kind of nice too. I'll go ahead and upscale that one, and we'll see how that goes. Now, the way Midjourney works is it prioritizes items that you put in the front of the prompts. So if it does make a difference if you do National Geographic, that'll make a difference. So if that had been put in the front of the prompt and with the whale shark, then you probably get kind of a dramatic picture of the whale shark because that's a typical National Geographic thing. But here, there's so many things going on here. It's really more than the Midjourney bot can handle. And it did do a good job, I think, on the parts that were in the front part of the prompt, which is what you would expect. So this does look like a Chinese art style painting to me. It's quite a nice image, even though this one doesn't have a whale shark in it, but it's still a pretty picture. Anyway, that gives an idea of the catalog system. And what I like about it is that it's very simple to use uh, and yet very powerful. It's just I added a little bit of functionality with those fixed tags if I wanted to make sure I kept something in the prompt, but that's not necessary at all. So a number of the ones I have, you can just give it whatever prompts you like, put them together, and um, set up your catalogs. And I think that it's a very easy way to get a lot of variety. That's what I was, one of the things I was wanting to mention was something I've been interested in a long time is how you can have a system asking it to do prompts where you get a lot of variety and also you get prompts that you know are good prompts that work well. And this structure has worked quite well is to instead of giving it the instructions on how to do the prompt, give it the actual prompts, find prompts that you know work, that you've used before, and you know they work, and you give them as example prompts, and then it does a real nice job of using those as examples and fitting them to whatever theme that you'd like to do. Well, thanks for watching my video, and I hope you find this as useful as I've found it to be. I think I'm going to try to get this to 100, and then when I get it, because that's a nice number, so I'll put in 20 more, I think, and then I'll